Best be about Walde, Menfes Caduce, and Amlak. Best be about Walde, Menfes Caduce, and Amlak. Best be about Walde, Menfus, and Amlak. Amen. So the first reading of the book of Genesis, coming from the Ethiopian Bible. The first reading, which today is the 29th of Sunday in September 2024. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was formless and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was fluttering on the face of the waters. And God says, "Let light be," and light is, and God sees the light is good, and God separates the light and darkness, and God calls the light day, and the darkness he calls night. And there is an evening, and there is a morning, day one. And God says, "Let an expanse be in the midst of the waters, and let it be separating between waters and waters." And God makes the expanse, and it separates between the waters, which makes the expanse. It separates from the waters which are under the expanse, and the waters which are rare above the expanse, and it is so. And God calls that expanse heavens, and there is an evening, and there is a morning, the second day. And God says, "Let the waters under the heavens be collected to one place, and let the dry land be seen," and it is so. And God calls the dry land earth, and the collection of waters he calls the seas. And God sees it is good. And God says, "Let the earth yield tender grass, herb sowing, seed, fruit tree, whose seed it is itself, making fruit after its kind on the earth." And it is so. And the earth brings forth tender grass, herb sown seed of its kind, and a tree making fruit, whose seed is it itself after its kind, and God sees that it is good. And there is an evening, and there is a morning, the third day. And God says, "Let the luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to make a separation between the day and the night. Then they have been for signs, and for anointed times, and for days and years. They have been for luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth." And it is so. And God makes the two great luminaries, the great luminary for the rule of the day, and the small luminary and the stars for the rule of the night. And God gives them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over day and night, and to make a separation between the light of the darkness, and God sees that is good. And there is an evening, and there is a morning, the fourth day. And God says, "Let the waters teem with the teeming living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth on the face of the expanse of the heavens." And God creates the great dragons and every living creature that is creeping, which the waters have teemed with, after which kind, and every bird with wing, and after its kind, and God sees that it is good. And God blesses them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply the earth." And there is a morning, and there is an evening, the fifth day. And God says, "Let the earth bring forth the living creatures after its kind, livestock and creeping thing, and the beast of the earth after its kind." And it is so. And God makes the beast of the earth after its kind, and the livestock after their kind, and every creeping thing on the ground after its kind. And God sees that is good. And God says, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them be the ruler over the fish of the sea, and over the bird of the heavens, and over livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that is creeping on the earth." And God creates man in his image, and in the image of God he created him, and male and female he created them. And God blesses them, and God says to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living creeping thing on earth." And God says, "Behold, I have given you the herb sown seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree in which the fruit is of the tree is sown seed, and it is for your food. And to every beast of the earth, and every bird of the heavens, and every creeping thing on earth, which is breath of life, and every herb is food." And so it is so. And God sees all he has done, and behold, it is very good. And there is an evening, and there is a morning, the sixth day. Here is the end of this reading. Bless me about Amen. So Genesis 1, the beginning of the Bible, as I said yesterday, I'll be reading a chapter a day. And yeah, sometimes I will offer a reflection on what I've read, other times I'm not. I'll do what the Spirit tells me. I guess my reflection on chapter 1 and that kind of, that narrative of God creating the world in 6 days and resting on the seventh day, which is what we've just heard, and creating all the animals on the earth and creating man and woman to rule over and to be the first humans. We can get straight away into that thought of the literal reading of the Bible, and I guess people who reject the Bible reject that literal interpretation. Was it 7 days? Was Adam and Eve the first humans on the earth? If they were the first humans on the earth, then how did their family, Cain and Abel, how did they procreate? Where did the wives come from? Etc., etc. So it gets straight away into that, I guess, that conflict of literal reading versus metaphorical reading and how we relate to what we've heard. One way I've heard it interpreted, and this isn't me saying this is how you have to believe it, but one priest did tell me years ago that actually when we think about the word world, this is God's world and this is a new God's world and new God's kingdom on earth, is that, if you think about how we use that word world, we have sports world, we have the entertainment world, we have the education world, etc., etc. So this is God's world on earth, and Adam and Eve were the first people that were establishing that world, but it doesn't necessarily mean they were the first humans on the world. There are other humans doing what they're doing that existed a long time before, but actually this was the point when God established his new kingdom and his new nation and the new world, if you like. So that's why they're established as the first humans, but they weren't literally, the first people in God's kingdom. They weren't literally the first humans on the world. So, take as that as you will. I think it's an interesting interpretation, which doesn't take the literal 7 days and first humans on the earth. But it explains kind of, what we mean by a new dawn and a new kind of creation, if you like. So, yeah, that's just one interpretation, but everyone will have different interpretations. If you are listening to this, and you've got comment and opinion, also, do leave comment as well. But as I said before, I'm doing this to hold myself accountable, not necessarily for the likes and the and the that kind of thing. I read a chapter a day of the Bible previously. It takes just over 3 years. But now with the Ethiopian Bible, which is 110 books rather than 66 books, it's a new journey. And also because I'm, baptized now into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, named Haile Mariam, that it's a new education. So yeah, give thanks anyone who's listening, and just to give thanks to God for the opportunity of this day. It's the morning. So yeah, have a blessed day, and catch anyone tomorrow. All right then, blessed love. Yet a for cure.